Hey, welcome to the next episode of the podcast. Glad you joined us. Make sure to subscribe and also leave comments. Each week we'll put up new shows. If you're a new subscriber, check out all the past episodes as well to catch up. But we look forward to continue talking and hope you enjoy what we're hearing at this point.
Sounds like a plan.
All right.
Great. Fantastic.
Ready for a new show? Everybody's ready for a new show. Welcome to the show. You got myself, JD. You got Michael. And you got Len, who's super fucking ecstatic because the Browns won a playoff game.
Whoa.
Not only did they win,
Okay.
probably the most shocking fucking game ever. Not so much
Wait,
that they won.
you said they were favored to lose that game, right? Didn't you say they were playing, I think, the
favorite
Pittsburgh?
to lose? You mean, yeah, okay.
Yeah. We know.
And we get what you meant. But
Yeah.
the point is that, yeah, they were not favored to win, right? They were expected to lose by 6 points. At least the point spread was 6.
I thought.
Needless to say, literally on the first offensive play for the Steelers, the center snaps it over the quarterback's head deep.
Yeah.
They run back.
Not just a center. Wait. Let's
Quarterback.
He's a not a safety, a touchdown. We
Right.
recovered the ball in the end zone.
Straight up.
Not only
Here's
is he
the
a
best
center,
part.
but he's like they're all pro center. He's probably gonna be Hall of Fame eventually. He's like a 7 or 8 time Pro Bowler. So it's not like some scrub or
10-year vet on the
Yeah,
Steelers.
right.
And needless to say, first play, literally the first play, this couldn't have gone any better for the Browns at
Mhm.
all.
It's usually what the Browns do.
Right. The Browns were up 28-0 after 1.
Yeah,
What?
back to the first quarter.
Everything was just falling in line for them in every way possible. Len's point that the football gods hate the Browns, clearly not that
They
day.
made up for it. They paid up for that first quarter.
They're like, you know what? Fuck the Steelers.
Yeah,
We need some
we're-
excitement. We need some excitement for
Oh,
the
no.
next few days or fix.
no. It wasn't excitement. It was shock and awe because
I literally had to text Len to make sure he wasn't dead.
I was waiting for but look,
What was the final score?
Well, it was closer than, the score was closer than the reality, but they
38,
Steelers did make the
48,
game back.
37.
It was like, yeah.
High score.
I mean, it's
it
it
was.
was a combination of look. The Browns' biggest weaknesses are secondary. I mean, we give up big plays and chunk yards. We can't blitz because our corners can't cover one-on-one because we have like in that game. One of our main corners was a practice squad player, legitimately practice squad, not second or third string, but practice squad. And we're just down. I mean, our secondary has been hurt all year, so we give up those chunks, and so it's a combination of trying to play prevent, but actually not really, but giving up too much in the prevent. So we were playing two safeties deep.
How is Pittsburgh's defense normally?
Garbage. Clearly
Is there-
garbage.
No, they're
Well,
top 5 in the league.
They can, yeah. Okay, I don't give a
No,
shit
they
about
are.
that
You
because
gotta
then you have to
give
compare them
credit
against who
off.
the teams they played. All right, let's look at the Steelers the last 4 weeks, though. Okay, who cares what your stats were? Because if you start 11-0 during a season, there's a good chance you're getting great stats early on.
Yeah.
What you want to look at is how they are in the last few weeks.
Oh yeah.
And honestly, they finished 12-4, right? So they started 11-0 and they went 1-4 in their last 5 games. All right. And now you can wipe out the game against the Browns at the end of the season. Obviously they weren't starting all their starters, so you kind of just give that as a wash and whatever. So it wasn't a true comparison. But the point is they went 1-4 in their last 5 games. They go in this game in the first fucking play. It's fantastic, dude. I was just in shock.
Oh,
Pitches it up over his head. Never does this, to Len's point. Never does this. So far over,
he's a
they
great
started at the
center.
20.
I mean,
Was
Right,
the
they
weather
started at the
conditions bad? Was it snowing? Was it?
No, it was
he
straight up.
just messed up.
It was cold.
There really was no excuse for it.
No, there wasn't.
Honestly.
No.
Look, I played offensive.
Well, there is an
line,
excuse for it. Someone bet heavily on the Browns to cover and win. I'm just
look.
saying. Maybe you need money.
My
That's
youngest
pretty
played
impressive.
center. My youngest played center, and I mean, he was like, And usually he'll do the thing like when the center messes up a snap, like a little to the left or whatever. He always comes to the defense. It doesn't matter if it's the Ravens, Bengals, or whoever. But that one, he's like, no, he just messed up. I mean,
he knows it too.
And it wasn't a little one either. It was Ben Roethlisberger is like 6'5".
Yeah,
big guy.
And he had his hand all the way up. I mean, it went over his head.
Now, let's be clear. His vertical right about now is 2 inches. So
pretty generous, but yeah.
Still though, but if he's 6'5", raising his arms up, right?
The point is, that
it went so far up and over. It was crazy, and it went deep, dude. It was like a long snapper in a sense, was trying to hit the punter in the back. So anyway, both Roethlisberger and the running back, whose name is eluding me right now, Connor. Thank you. Both run to the ball, and Roethlisberger just sits there standing like, dude, I'm not diving on that fucking thing. So anyway, Connor goes to try and pick up, doesn't, and the Browns come flying in as they should. 5 Browns were in there, and the ball slipped out. Actually, they would have gotten it on like the 3, but it flipped out and went in the end zone, and then they got it there for the touchdown. So right off the bat, touchdown. 7-0. Then Ben just starts, I don't know where the fuck he was throwing to, but he threw one pass like he just blatantly threw it up and over, not even close to his receiver, and hit one of the Browns in the secondary. So they came back, and then offensively they scored. I mean, defense was just poor. The whole first half was literally like,
and that's the whole thing.
Didn't even know what they were doing.
Was that the Steelers was giving it to the Browns, and I'm not saying that they weren't, but it's also the whole thing of the Browns capitalized on all those turnovers. All those turnovers turned into a touchdown. So all those turnovers
how many turnovers did they have? How many turnovers did they give up?
So in the first half, there was 4. There was the fumble, which is a fumble, and then Roethlisberger three INT, and then Roethlisberger threw. One of the interceptions that happened in the second half was a tip.
Yeah,
and a D lineman laid himself out and intercepted it. I mean, it was basically. This was a game that usually, if this was the Browns playing, like the Steelers, if it was the roles were reversed, it wouldn't have been surprising. It would have been classic Browns. And Jitty's just, he understands. It really was a role reversal where Browns did everything right. They didn't make any mistakes. I mean, like I said, yes, they allowed them to score. The defense, our defense just gives up points. Look galore. I mean, you can't look at any game that we've had a shootout at. You have the Ravens, you have Tennessee. You had the Bengals earlier. You had with the Cowboys earlier. All those games with shootouts, our defense gives up major points. So us giving up those major points wasn't surprising at all. It wasn't like, oh, well, look what the Steelers did. The Bengals fucking did it. So
yeah, but let me tell you this though, Mike, just as we're getting up to speed. First off, Roethlisberger threw for 501 yards in this game.
Yep.
Over 500 yards.
Second most in the playoffs in NFL history.
Serious?
He threw the ball 68 times. They basically gave up on the run quickly because they had to. They were down so fast. They went to the passing game. Anyway. They can't run, but not when you're down by that much. I mean, when you're down by that much, you have to give it up.
What was the completion out of 68?
47 of 68. He actually was pretty good.
Wow.
He was also through 4 TDs and 4 picks. So, he was consistent for both teams. Right, so he made sure he was equal. It's all about equality. Needless to say,
balancing it out, right?
Steelers just got. I mean, it was crazy, dude. I was literally texting Len. I'm like, dude, are you all right?
No,
because
that's
it was
some kind of record though. 500 yards.
Al Michaels and Chris Collinsworth were calling the game.
Second most in playoff history.
Yeah,
but the funny
Al
part
Michaels
is
and Chris Collinsworth are calling the game, and they're basically saying, I know they're up right now, but I guarantee no Brown fan right now is even celebrating because they know full well it's the Browns, which is a fair point.
That is a fair point. You know that I will not deny that. You know that I wasn't happy. Okay, there was even when we had the ball and just doing the kneel down, I was nervous.
even though they're up 11, even though they're up 11, even if they screwed that up once, it wouldn't have mattered.
Mike, years ago, about 10 years ago, we lost a game where the pass was incomplete or whatever, but no. Threw the ball, play was still alive, but one of our defensive linemen thought the play had ended, so he threw his helmet. Unsportsmanlike conduct penalty because it was during the actual game, but he was doing it because he was celebrating and moved them into field goal range. And they kicked the field goal to beat us. So that's why I'm saying until it's actually 0-0 and it actually says final game's not over with the Browns. We've lost games we lost to the Ravens trying to kick a field goal for the win. They blocked it, returned it, and got a touchdown to win the game. So no, not, and JD knows this.
That was still a fantastic fucking game, by the way. I had to laugh my ass off when that one happened too.
And that's the Browns. That's normally the Browns. This year, none of that happened though.
Yeah. So Len's excited.
Out of me.
Now comes reality. Because now they're facing the Kansas City Chiefs.
The big thing with the Chiefs is that I think we can easily score against their defense. I think it's going to be a high-scoring game, to be honest. I don't think we can outpace the Chiefs.
Did Kansas City have a bye, or did they?
They were the only team with a bye because they changed the playoff format this year. 7 teams got in. Only the number 1 seed sat out the first week. So that was Kansas City and Green Bay for the NFC. And so now this week you have Kansas City against Cleveland, which is it's going to be an interesting matchup because Baker Mayfield and Mahomes faced each other in a massive game back in college a few years back between Texas Tech and
over 700 yards.
Yeah.
In that college game.
Right. So to Len's point,
550.
This could be a shootout, but I think the Chiefs pass rush is a bit better than Pittsburgh's got a great pass rush, but yeah,
the only reason why it's not going to be that high scoring is because I can see the Browns trying to rely heavily on the run to keep.
I was just going to ask that. Who has a better run game? Because if they can control
the Browns, definitely do. The Browns by far. But they have
and then in long-term run, right? Running definitely wears out the defense, right? So if they can maintain that.
Well, no, they have the better run game, but that doesn't mean they're going to be able to execute the run game effectively.
They will. You're an idiot. But the thing is that I just
you can't say they will. You don't know that for a fact. You're telling me every single game your run game's been unstoppable, then you should have won every fucking game. You finished 11-5.
You're right.
You lost 5 times. Your run game was stopped. They required Baker Mayfield to win the game.
Anyway, you're right. And
reset expectations. And I know you're excited about the win, but come on.
Mahomes might not be able to throw the ball either long, right? And Tyreek Hill may be slow.
You'll lose by 30.
Holy shit! Come on.
I don't know if we'll lose by 30.
Lost by 30.
I think it's going to be closer, but I think it's going to be high scoring. I can see losing by 10.
I mean, if
what about start, dude? I just gotta say, I gotta level set him. I can't let him get too excited. I gotta keep him down.
Get too excited.
You're talking optimistic, like you have a chance. You have no chance. You're gonna lose.
You sound like Adrian from Rock before. You can't win.
Biggest thing is the scariest thing is that
I'm afraid. All right, I'm afraid.
What was I going to say now? Dick. No. The biggest thing is that the Chiefs' strength kills our weakness on defense. I mean, Tyreek Hill, our DBs are too slow. I mean, thank God we had Denzel Ward back, but there's no way we can.
Momentum sometimes kills too, right? If they have a high momentum, right, and they're riding off a high, they could ride on that too as well, right?
You're right.
Sometimes even a team that's rested sometimes could not perform because they don't practice as well.
No, that's the thing.
I mean, they can win, but the performance could come down and be hindered. I'm just saying that it can.
You're right, but the thing is, what's his name? Now the Chiefs head coach.
Yeah, Andy Reid.
Andy Reid, thank you.
Sorry, I wasn't sure if
his record's coming off.
Okay.
I don't see them not being prepared.
Well, and so that's the thing, right? He never loses on bye weeks anyway for Andy Reid. And second of all, when was the last time a number 1 seed lost their first game in a divisional round?
Yeah, I don't know.
It's been a while. So So I agree with you, Mike. I mean, it's such an emotional high, but the problem is it's such an emotional high.
Exactly, dude.
Sometimes it ruins it for you for the next.
It could be the opposite.
But at least their confidence is there. They won without their coach, right? They won was stacked against them in a sense because Steelers are supposed to be a better team. All they need is mistakes. If they can get it quick, if Kansas City makes some early mistakes, then it's a different game because now the Browns could capitalize and start getting in there. But again, the Browns were up 35-7 at halftime, dude. 35-7. And they scored, right? Yeah, it was 35-7 at halftime.
What, twice, 2 more times. That's it.
They only scored, 13 points and gave up like 20 something, right? So they got outscored in the second half. That's fine. But again, you're up ahead. See, to me, that's where don't pass, you run. And to Len's point, right? You should have a strong running game. But the Steelers were still able to stop them to keep getting back into it. But they hit it when they needed to. That's why they won, right? They executed, which means they won. Right, so they executed, which caused them to win the game, which is exactly what happens. If you execute, you win. So anybody you say wins executed is just fucking known.
Right,
Anyway,
they execute. Yeah, you're
so
absolutely right.
this week, so let's talk about this week. Let's talk about this week real quick,
Yeah.
and we'll shift gears. So this week the matchups are pretty interesting, right? So you got tomorrow specifically, you have the Rams going against Green Bay. So this is Green Bay's first game in the playoffs because they had the bye.
Green Bay should win that one easy.
Green Bay
Who's
should
got a
win.
better
that.
running game?
Yeah, because golf's finger's still messed up, or thumb. I know.
Who's got a better-
Oh yeah,
who's got a
here's
better-
another thing about last week.
Who's got a better pass rush against those two, and who's got a better running game?
Well, first off, you have Aaron Donald on the Rams, the
Yeah.
best defensive end in the game.
Back.
So what's that?
He's a tackle.
Yeah, that's true.
He's
Good
on
point. He switches out to the defensive end position
I know.
sometimes.
Oh,
to get
wow.
outside. Yeah, I got it.
He can move around anywhere.
Yeah.
We do the
Both
same thing with
sides,
Garrett.
huh?
He is literally the best player.
He's unreal.
He could win
maybe-
MVP as a
he's not
defensive
number one.
player if they would ever consider that, which they generally don't. They always give it to the offensive player.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So defensively, they're strong, and they'll be good against Green Bay. But it's Aaron Rodgers, dude. He can read everything. He can move players around. He's going to be fine getting through this. So I don't expect
Their
the Rams.
defense isn't good enough.
Yeah,
to
answer the
make up
point.
for the offense.
The defense of or the offense of the Rams is hurting.
Yeah.
Jared Goff. So Jared Goff had busted a finger and actually didn't even start their playoff game last week because he still had some pins in his finger, I believe it was, right?
Oh, wow.
But he was their backup. Like early on in the game, the starter gets knocked out by some massive hit. And now Goff has to go in and carry, which was never expected to play, and goes in and plays, and they win. So good for them. But they're going to lose to Green Bay. So that's
But
tomorrow.
his numbers weren't good last. I mean, and it was obvious that he wasn't able to throw the ball well.
Right, exactly. So that's Saturday's morning game or afternoon. I'm sorry, they start around 1, I think it is. And then the evening game is going to be between Baltimore, former Browns team, against. Don't shake your head. No, it's fucking true.
No, it's
And
not.
then it is true.
No. So the Ravens. What
Anyway,
is
so
it?
the Ravens are playing the Bills. That should be an interesting game because
I so bad want the Bills to win.
yeah, I know you
How
do.
did the Bills do? How did the Bills do? They play last week.
They played last week. Every team played
They
last
actually
week.
do well,
except
Mike.
Kansas City and Green Bay.
They're actually inconsistent. But Josh Allen is. I didn't think he was going to be this good this quick. You know, he's
Well, it's his
definitely
third
had
year,
a
right?
lot
It's his
to do.
third year. So
Yeah.
by third year, I expect a quarterback who's been consistent in a team to have
He's-
developed, or they're not.
Yeah, and also getting Stephon Diggs helped majorly. Diggs went off this year.
True. Diggs was a
But,
great pickup for them. It really helped. But they barely won their game, by the way.
Yeah.
They only won 27-24 against the Colts. So
The Colts is good.
Colts are a good team. Yeah, I
Yeah,
agree.
they're
They have a great
solid team.
defense. Yeah, they have
Yeah.
a really good defense. But, you know, the Ravens ended up beating the Titans, basically their nemesis from last year, where
Yeah.
Derrick Henry just destroyed them. This year he didn't do it. And
anything.
Lamar Jackson got his first win.
But
So-
you know, the thing is, and I'm not being totally biased, but you know, it's like their
Said
defense
totally.
is winning games for them right now. Their defense this last week,
How many Super Bowls have been won by a defense?
purely by defense, definitely the 2000 Ravens, and then Tampa Bay,
Then Denver
then
Broncos.
Denver. Was
Yeah.
that?
Denver
Denver.
Broncos.
Mm-hmm.
But my point is,
Maybe
a
the-
defense can
yeah.
help get you there. It's not like the offense of the Ravens doesn't suck. Like
No.
Tampa Bay,
They're
actually,
built for that defense.
yeah. I mean, when Baltimore won the Super Bowl back in 2000 with Trent Dilfer,
Mhm.
that was literally the defense winning the Super Bowl.
That was
Yeah.
purely defense. Yeah,
When Tampa Bay won, they had a great defense, but Brad Johnson wasn't a bad quarterback, so that
He was-
offense
yeah,
was
they
pretty
weren't
good.
as bad. Yeah.
But I'd say defenses can win you a Super Bowl, but a good balanced team can definitely win you a Super Bowl.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
I don't think to what Len was alluding. I mean, yes, the Baltimore defense is good, but they've been up and down this whole season, so it depends how they show up.
Look, they gave up 42 to us. So
Yeah,
I mean,
I agree.
Wow.
So
But I
yeah,
mean-
you're right. They have been inconsistent, and that's I think. But Buffalo's also been consistent, so it's kind of it's going to be
44
interesting.
points is a lot to give up.
Actually, the only consistent team in the playoffs for the AFC right now is the Chiefs.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
All
they
the
haven't been playing
green
that great.
team- They haven't, but then again, they locked this shit up
They
so
still
long
win.
ago. It's one of those
Yeah.
things where, okay, did you play off? But so you got that in the AFC, or you got that Saturday. Sunday will be the big game. You got the 1:00 game is the Browns Chiefs, and then the evening game, the 5 o'clock, Yeah, the 5 o'clock game, which will be interesting, really for me, is Tampa Bay and Tom Brady against Drew Brees and the Saints.
Mm.
So who you picking, Mike? Let's get you involved here. Who you picking? Where are you going with?
One of those 4 games. That's all you got to do.
Give me the winners of all 4 and
Just
go.
go.
You want me to repeat them?
The Bills.
Okay.
Good.
I would like to see the Browns pull an upset.
So would Len.
Yeah, I would like to see that. That'll be kind of interesting to see the
put some money down just in case it happens. It'd probably be pretty good payout. Yeah. Odds are not good for them. Actually, what are the odds for the game? Do you remember, Len?
10.
What's the spread on that one?
10.
10 is the spread?
Yep. Yeah, 10-point spread.
Wow.
The second highest is Packers-Rams at 6.5.
I'm giving that to the Packers. Right?
Okay.
I'm going to go with the Packers, and I'm going to go with the Saints.
Yep. Yeah. So I would disagree only on one. And I'm going to say the Ravens. Ravens beat the Bills. Yeah. I don't think the Chiefs are going to lose. I think it'll be close. I keep kidding around saying they're going to lose by 30, but I'd be shocked if it's a blowout. I suspect Browns will play a much closer game.
Yeah.
I still think they'll probably lose closer to the 10 that they're predicting, but I don't think it'll be like an immediate, like it'll be out of touch. Like they'll be there late in the game, but they'll still end up losing by 10 or so, probably from some last minute touchdown or some shit like that.
7-3 or something like that, I think. Maybe a touchdown or field goal, maybe. You think?
We'll say they're up like by 3, and then they get that touchdown to pretty much end the game for them. That's I think.
That's the clutch right there, yeah.
Yeah. But after seeing what the Browns did again, they got some help because the Steelers' first play just said, "Here's a gift, dude." Right off the bat.
Let's see how well you handle this.
But they took it and ran with it, and they ran with it, man. I mean. And Chubb's a great running back. I agree.
I love Chubb.
And it doesn't hurt that you have the backup either. A
backup that can be a starter on like 2018.
Exactly. So they got a great backfield. They just need. I was going to say backcourt, throwing in basketball, but they got a great backfield. And so yeah, I agree with you, Mike. I think at least 3 of the 4 I agree with you. The one I think the Ravens will pull it off and beat the Bills. I think Lamar Jackson now has more confidence since he's won that he's going to end up beating them. Because his legs alone, he's the fastest quarterback still left out of the teams, and that alone can make a difference in the playoffs. We've seen that. So, I think that's. What's your thoughts, Len? Who do you think is going to win?
So I have to pick Buffalo, and
is that with your heart because of your distaste for the Ravens, or is that based on actually? If I said you have to,
if I had to, no,
you're a betting man. Where would you go?
I see the Ravens a lot like how the Steelers are. They're inconsistent. Again, they give up. They're at that defense. Their great defense that everybody raves about gave up 42 to us. They're inconsistent with some things. I just don't have a lot of faith in that team as a whole. I mean, look, Lamar Jackson, incredible runner. You know what? But I just don't see them built kind of like your point earlier. It's really their defense that does it. It's their defense that gives that offense time and chances to wear down a team with the run game, to wear them out, to eventually score and make those huge plays. If they fall behind against a decent team, they have no chance of coming back. So you're right. The only hesitation I have is how Buffalo played last week is more the question that I have. You know, if Buffalo plays better than they did last week, then I don't think the Ravens have a chance. I think I can see Buffalo not running away with the game, but winning by a good margin. I don't think the Rams have any chance without Goff playing. Even if Goff was 100%, I still would pick Green Bay. And with Goff not being 100%, and I actually saw him play in high school. Because a little quick story. When my oldest son Dominic was on JV, they played against the high school that Goff went to up in Marin County. And somebody was saying, yeah, this guy's being recruited by Cal. He's gonna be going there. He's amazing. And I saw him throw like 5 passes against our team, and it was just amazing. I mean, it's one of those things where when you hear about like pro players when they played in high school, how much better they were than everybody around them. Yeah, it's one of those margins that you see that you're just like, it's amazing. Anyway, but I think even if he was 100%, I don't think Rams would have a chance against Green Bay. It's just I just don't think that their defense can keep up with Aaron Rodgers.
Well, I think their defense can, but I think where it's going to wear them down is because their offense is going to struggle
Yeah,
to
yeah,
that
especially-
point because of Goff being hurt.
Yeah.
Even if Goff wasn't hurt, he's so inconsistent anyway.
Yeah.
It's
I guess
not
that's,
hard.
that's what I
That's
mean.
killer right there. If you're not consistent, right? It's just like your level of that is just bad, right? Because you're never going to hit that stride. So that's bad,
So
especially
Mike, when I watched before I stopped watching the game, like he was like 4 of 12 at one point for like I think only one pass was long, and that's because it yards after the catch.
yikes.
I do think New Orleans over Tampa Bay, even though it's hard to say because Tampa Bay has just been getting better and better and better. So I think that's the one game that I see as the biggest toss-up. Just because I think Tampa Bay is getting better and better, and Breeze seems to be coming back from that injury. So I think that's going to be a good game. I think it's going to be an interesting game. And
What's
then with
interesting?
Huh?
Oh, wait, go say it.
I think KC will win. If it becomes a shootout, KC definitely wins. I think the only way that the Browns have a chance is if, to your point, if we can establish the run, keep him off the field, not have any mistakes, and just wear down Kansas City's defense and keep our defense fresh, that's the only way. If it stays below like the over-under, I think is only like 56 points. If it's under, I think the Browns have a good chance of winning. I don't think it's going to stay under. But yeah, if it becomes a shootout, I don't see the Browns being able to keep up with, especially like Tyreek Hill and Kelce are just too much for our defense. I think the matchup for that on our defense. So I think if the Browns don't pound them early with the run game and have it as effective as possible, I just don't see us having a chance. The only way we have a chance is if we can really, really run the ball well and not have any mistakes. I mean, not turnovers by mistakes is what I mean.
All right, so you're picking then the Bills, the Saints, the Packers, and the Chiefs reluctantly.
Reluctantly, yeah.
Got it.
I don't think we have zero chance. The Browns.
It'd be crazy though if the Ravens and the Browns both win and they go in the AFC Championship.
I'm gonna take a sedative. There's no way I can watch that game. High.
He's gonna probably come up to say which Browns team is gonna win.
I'm gonna have I'm not even gonna say anything about getting pharmaceuticals from somebody.
Not to stay too much longer on football, but let me ask you this one question, Len. Being a Browns fan, you guys have Odell Beckham, and your offensive team looks so much better without him. So the question is, should you be keeping him? And you feel
okay? To be honest, and I know the question because I've heard a lot of people say it. I think that's a false correlation because Stefanski came in, no offseason really, no OTAs, no preparation, no preseason game to get the offense up to speed. Mayfield had to learn his fourth offensive system in 3 years. I don't really think that I think that the issues were, yes, there was an issue with Mayfield trying to force it to OBJ, but also I think because he lacked confidence and comfort in the system, he was kind of relying on trying to throw it to OBJ. So I don't think that the change of the offense getting better was necessarily because of OBJ. I think it's because of you see a difference in Mayfield. And again, everyone wanted to attribute it to saying maybe Mayfield was more comfortable because OBJ was in there. But I don't know. It just seemed like he knew the system better. He knew the game better. He seemed to calm down a lot. I think the common effect of Stefanski helped to just calm him down, put him in a different place. You see he acts very different now. But I think it's more this season. So to answer the question, the one thing that we do lack is that big, deep threat. So having OBJ back would be huge. I think the only reason why I would trade him is for like a superstar safety or linebacker or somebody else like in that. Somebody, I wouldn't trade him for draft picks or anything like that. I would only trade him if it was to shore up our defense because right now our defense is our Achilles heel. And so if it was somebody like that, like cornerback or safety or an outside linebacker or somebody like that, then maybe I would think training would be a good idea. But
Got it.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
yeah.
I'd trade his ass. I trade him because historically, look at his teams.
The thing is, he has been, but to give him credit.
Everybody tries to force it. The problem is he's a superstar receiver, and I agree with you. Mayfield, part of it was sort of the learning the new system, but it's not like he hasn't played with these guys before. He played with them last year. Granted, the system's slightly different, but he still tried to force it because I think to some degree, whether it's true or not, it's a superstar. And this is true. You always hear quarterbacks in the past, Joe Montana, Steve Young would say this. Receiver would always come and say, I'm open. It's like, dude, yeah, every receiver thinks they're open. They all think they're open. The problem is when someone who's a veteran like OBJ is coming in and maybe not saying he was, but sometimes you can see mannerisms in games. He was disappointed, frustrated, and so Mayfield being a younger guy is going to try harder. I think you pull that sort of element out, and then suddenly it's less pressure to make him happy, and it's more about just the team. And I don't think that changes when he comes back. And I think that was the case. Eli could just ignore him when he was quarterback, but even then, Eli would still try to appease him because you saw temper tantrums on the sidelines all the time with this guy. When shit's not going well, he's going to be the one that's going to drag the team even further down. So it's just interesting, and it could be wrong. But at least from an outsider's view, looking at how he acts and how it drives the teams, I tend to think they're better off without him, and they should trade him. And I think they found their mix. They could get another receiver somewhere else. They could get it through the draft, whatever. You can get receivers who can spread the field out and take, just for speed purposes. But I don't think he will help that team. As much as the name may sound good to help the team, I think offensively, you can pick up other things, and you could trade him for, to your point, some defensive help, and that would be much better for the team having him back. Yep.
Yeah, like I said, I don't disagree with you. I mean, and I think it's one of those things where hopefully the people in the building see the difference or know the difference between what happened. Because truth is, we only see stuff unless he explodes on the sideline. Like his normal tantrums that he had, especially with the Giants. We don't know what he's actually saying. So who knows? It could have been all Mayfield in his head. Maybe Odell was like this.
Yeah, exactly. You just don't know. But like I said, from an outsider's perspective, watching Odell, who, by the way, his biggest claim to fame is that one Cowboy game where he caught the ball one-handed in the end zone for a touchdown. Other than that, his stats have been good, but he's been more inconsistent than consistent, and he's been injured a hell of a lot more. So people keep talking about in this. What's that?
I'd say that's my major concern with keeping him. I think that there's a stabilizing force with the Browns now that was never there, but I would be mainly concerned about his injury history.
Yeah, agreed with the year.
Yeah.
So anyway, all right, enough with the football. I think we've killed that one to death. We all know what's going to happen this weekend. Actually, we don't. We'll see what happens. Len could come back dead. He could come back super excited. Actually, if he comes back dead, that'd be impressive. He'd be a stiff lying there. But
pretty much.
That being said,
if we win, the same thing can happen if we win.
That's true. Pure joy and excitement. Like I saw someone, I don't know who I was talking to about this, but it's true, and Len knows this for a fact. The Browns are gods in the city of Cleveland, right? Cleveland Indians can win a title, the Cavs win a title, and great, they're great. They brought a championship back to this, but the minute the Browns win,
it's over.
It doesn't matter. Every single player on that team will be a god forever if they win a Super Bowl. I guarantee it. A god forever. No matter what else they do in their career, they will always be a god. And LeBron James will not even be in consideration when it comes to their excitement level because the Browns are Cleveland. That's it. That's the most. Everything else is just nice.
It literally is Cavs, Indians, blank space, Browns. I mean, they're.
Did you want to go the other way? Could you just put the Browns at the bottom of your list? Flip that around next time.
You
got the Cavs, Indians, and then the Browns way up here.
That's what they think.
Whatever. You know what I mean. I'm talking about.
I know what you meant, but I'm just saying.
What's the point? You know what I fucking meant. Why do you enter? Why?
Hey, Mike, how's it going, Mike? How are you?
It's going good, man. This is going to be interesting. Yeah. See what happens next week when we talk about the results of these games. It's going to be fascinating. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah.